this is Uncle Ted, your ice cream alchemist, with ice cream every day, and this is root beer ice cream. Yes, as promised, I made a second attempt at it. Why? Because this is for somebody I care about deeply. She's important to me, and I wanted to do this for her. So let's get started. I chilled the bowl and beaters in the freezer for an hour, then I put in 4 cups of fresh, heavy cream. Then I whipped them with my mixer until they had peaks. This took about 4 minutes of constant mixing on high. If you recall my previous videos for Mountain Dew ice cream and root beer ice cream, this is the same recipe and technique. I'm gonna do another video using the sweet cream base I normally use, just because I'd like to taste the difference. Somebody once asked me why I made ice cream. To be honest, I do it because it's one of the few things I do well. I tend to screw up a lot and really make a mess of things. But when I make ice cream, it's different. I don't self-destruct, and I've never hurt anybody making ice cream. I love making ice cream for others, and I learned something recently. The things we do for people isn't so much about them as it is us. It's a statement about who we are. I'm doing this because I want somebody special to me to have an ice cream from her childhood. We eat to remember, but we cook out of love. I was doubtful the sweetened condensed milk I used was going to have enough sweetness for this. Normally, I'd use 1 can per every 2 cups of heavy cream. That just didn't seem to bring enough sweetness because the root beer extract was powerful but unsweetened. In fact, according to the directions, it called for a heaping 8 tablespoons of sugar for 1/2 a tablespoon of extract. Because of this, I sprinkled in 1½ cups of powdered sugar into the cream as I whipped it, and after tasting it, I'm glad I did. I'm using Zatarain's extract. The same people who make Cajun seasonings and food also make a root beer extract, and upon tasting, I'm glad I did. It's really a great, well-rounded flavor. I bought it off Amazon, and it wasn't expensive at all. I have enough to make my own root beer to drink, and I plan on doing that tomorrow just to check it out. After making sure I had the cream whipped to the point it held peaks when I pulled out the beaters, I added the sweetened condensed milk. The best way to do this is to pour it in gently and then fold it in slowly and with care. You don't want to mash out the air you just whipped into your cream and make it flat again. So you have to be careful as you fold in the sweetened condensed milk, or anything you add for that matter. That's solid advice for adding anything to whipped cream or meringue made from egg whites. Be gentle and add things with care. Then I added the root beer extract. I ended up using 2 tablespoons of the extract. That might seem like a lot for the 4 cups of heavy cream, but keep in mind that cold temperatures mute flavors. Heat brings those flavors out. Since we eat ice cream in the frozen state, I reasoned that I would need to double up on the flavoring. I'm glad I did too. That seemed to work out well in the end. Once it was folded in, I put the bowl back in the fridge to chill, because the colder your base, the smoother your ice cream will be, and the less time it'll take to churn. To churn this, I used my old school rival ice cream maker. It holds more and makes a larger batch. It doesn't freeze things as cold as the Cuisinart, but I don't have to freeze the bowl either. And while it makes a mess and it's loud, it gets the job done faster. The ice isn't a problem. It's winter time here. As for salt, I'll give you a tip. Don't buy the bags of ice cream maker salt they sell in the store. They're expensive. I use sidewalk salt. It's the cheapest salt, and honestly, since we're not touching it with our food, it doesn't need to be clean or sanitary. It's salt. When putting all this in the canister, I put the mixture in the top of the canister, then I top it, and then I put the canister into the bucket and lock the motor on top. Then I plug in the motor, and I had it running before the next step. I had it running before I put any ice in it. I filled the bucket about 1/3 of the way with ice. I found that using a small plastic container as a scoop was easier and far less messy than dumping the bag of ice into the bucket. It's better than picking up a slippery 20-pound bag of ice and hoping you don't overflow the bucket. On top of that, I put a layer of salt. I repeated this 2 more times until I was to the very top of the canister. All in all, this turned out pretty well. I'm happy with the results, and I would hope the person I made this for will be too. After all, she's the reason I did all this in the first place. I might not be able to do much right in this world, but at least I can make ice cream. And while that's not a lot, it's the best I've got. But thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, and if you can, share this video on social media. Oh, and don't forget to click the like button. I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments section below. And remember, folks, if you're not eating ice cream for breakfast, what's the point of being an adult? Thank you.